Yo, what's up, bro? Let me ask you a question. When you're drawing, do you feel like your lines suck? Do you feel like you overthink your lines every time you draw? Or do you feel like they look stiff and lifeless? Or they just suck in general? They don't look good and you don't know how to really go about things? Like you've tried doing... I swear, every fucking art tutorial is gonna tell you to draw like this... to do like this warm-up exercise for your lines that doesn't that doesn't even fucking work. And you know it doesn't work, and it's like, right, I'm still in the same place. Here I have a bunch of drawings, a bunch of studies I did some time ago. If you pay attention to the lines, to the way the lines look here, you might realize they are kind of terrible. They are very wonky. They're not perfect by any means, and they are, in fact, very terrible looking. But the drawings look okay. The drawings look good. It is kind of like these weird things where when you try to make your lines look perfect, they end up looking very rigid and lifeless. But when you don't really give a shit about your lines and just focus on the actual drawing and the things that really matter, the drawing looks good, but the lines look terrible, but in a good way. In this case, the lines look terrible, but at the same time, they look dynamic. They don't look bad, ironically, right? The other day, I was going through one of Kim Jong-il's art book, and I stumbled upon a drawing that I can't find, unfortunately. I can't find it anymore, but it is a drawing he did on like a bus or something. If you try drawing like a bus or a car, it's impossible. You have a lot of fucking movement, and it's not easy to do. And you can just tell he was drawing inside of a bus, and it wasn't just like a memory drawing, because his lines look actually pretty fucking terrible. His lines look extremely like wobbly and unsteady and shaky and shit. You know what's the funny part? That the drawing was actually looking really good. The drawing was pretty fucking sick. And I started to think, okay, this is a limiting belief that I have. It is a limiting belief to think that every single line that I draw has to look perfect. Otherwise, it's going to look bad. Because, this guy just drew like the most horrendous looking lines. But the perspective still reads well. Even though they are like shaky and stuff. I used to overthink my lines a lot, and I think this is the worst you can do. So you probably can relate to this. If you're drawing, let's say you're drawing a cube, you draw a line. Let me put my microphone here on the side real quick. So you draw a line. What do you do next? You Ctrl C, because I didn't like that line, it's not perfect. Nope. Okay, this is the line, and you just keep going like this, trying to draw the cube forever, and you never really get it done. It's like it takes you 30 minutes to draw a fucking cube, because you're always Ctrl-Cing like compulsively. You're doing this compulsively, and this is the blessing and the curse of being a digital artist, that you have tools like this that will fuck you up if you don't know how to use them properly. So what I even tried doing was because I have a Bluetooth keyboard here, so it has like this button where you can just turn it off, and now it's not gonna work if I press the keys. So I tried doing that on myself to prevent myself from Ctrl-Cing. Even on my iPad, I disable like the double tap thing on the screen, so I don't do that like compulsively again. And I'm going to introduce you to a mindset that will hopefully change the way that you draw. And I'm not kidding here. And hopefully we'll get rid of this limitant beliefs that you have about your lines. Because when you think of drawing, it is like fucking common sense that you think that lines are the main thing. Because, you have a pen and you make lines, and the obvious thing would be to try to improve your lines as much as you can, right? Well, this is not really true, because drawing is not about lines. Drawing is about cubes. Yes, drawing is about materializing cubes and blocks. I would say shapes in general. I would add cylinders on it, on like that list and shit. But I want to keep things simple, so I'm not going to expand the list too much. So let's just say drawing is about materializing cubes. And when I say drawing, and when I talk about this specifically, I mean drawing in 3D. I mean drawing in perspective. I mean drawing in any angle. I mean drawing from imagination, and I mean being able to draw things like rotate them and just mess around with the perspective and the angles of it. Because we are so used, especially when we are beginners and we don't really know what we're doing, to draw things in a very flat, cartoony 2D angle and perspective. I mean, so we usually draw things in 2D. Like if you're drawing like anime, like I started drawing anime, so everything was I was just copying stuff from like an anime, and it was all in 2D. It didn't have any crazy perspective, so I wasn't used to really even drawing cubes like this. Cubes are the most important thing you can actually practice, because it's the thing that you will be using every single time you draw anything in 3D. You will be using a box, basically. This exercise of, like, this warm-up exercise does absolutely fucking nothing but to throwing you off, basically. Stop doing this. If you're doing it, please don't do this anymore. What I want you to do is brainwash yourself, like I did, into thinking that the worse that your lines look, like the wonkier the lines, the better. The more dynamic is going to be your drawing, and the better it's going to look. And this is true, absolutely, though. And this is very weird. As I said, I was in shock, in disbelief, when I saw like the Kim Jong-il like stuff. Even I have my wallpaper is like a drawing from Kim Jong-il, and you can see still his drawings are shit. Specifically, I screenshotted this specifically because I thought his drawings looks particularly bad on this, and it doesn't really matter. It still looks fantastic, amazing, and what's gonna make it look good is, sorry, there's a loud fucking truck passing by here. What's gonna make your drawings look good is the confidence of not really giving a fuck and worrying only caring about the 3D shape. So about the mindset that I want to integrate into you, that I want to shove into your brain, is about cubes, basically. Drawing is about, I want you to stop seeing drawing as just drawing lines. Drawing is about materializing into a 2D canvas, materializing 3D shapes. In this case, we're only going to use cubes because that's the easy, and that is the only thing we need. Of course, we can throw in some cylinders, but this is something a little bit more trivial. I mean, it is important, of course, to learn how to do this, but whatever. Cubes will do the trick, but it doesn't have to be perfect. The only thing that has to be perfect is the perspective, and it has to be just good enough, right? Now, you should be able to draw a cube like this without undoing your lines. And I want you to be this to be your main exercise that you're going to do for like, it's not even something that you really do for a long time. It's something that it's more of a calibration, if you will. So what you're going to do is draw a cube in 3D. And you're going to allow it to be this ugly in terms of your line work, but you're not going to Ctrl-C. You're not going to undo your lines. And you're going to embrace that ugliness and that wonkiness of it. And let me tell you something, right? If you have genuinely shaky hands and the perspective looks like extremely shit, I don't know how to draw like a bad perspective cube. If your lines look genuinely this bad, you might want to increase the smoothing here on your pen, on your brush. So in Procreate, I think you gotta go to like the pen settings, and you can increase the stabilization there. And here you can increase the smoothing, and it will slow down the brush stroke pretty much. And that is gonna be really helpful. And you want to just do it enough that it allows you to do this ugly looking cube, which again, it looks dynamic. It looks good because the perspective is good. Our goal is not to make the lines pretty, but to materialize the 3D shape here. And what we really want to get good at is basically just being able to draw boxes next to each other and to materialize a box in 3D space next to other objects. Almost like if the goal is to place a Lego block next to another or something. And, you know, it takes a little bit of perspective knowledge. And by the way, sometimes I Control C my lines. I just don't do it compulsively, and my goal is to pretty much stop doing it entirely, but I still have a little bit of the habit. So it's not like you want to get rid of it completely. I'm not telling you to never Control C again, but just don't do it compulsively, right? Because sometimes you can genuinely mess up and do like a very wonky line that's gonna make the drawing a little bit ugly, so you can Control C that. And you know, I just don't want you to think that your lines are important. I don't want you to really give a shit about them, and I want you to just have that mindset basically. And that's gonna also another thing. This is so specific. I swear, this is going to help you with burnout. All right, because look, when you do this so much, when you Control C your lines so much like this, and you spend more time Control C'ing and undoing than actually drawing, this will wear you out. This is so fucking exhausting. You know, I remember like a year ago, I was drawing in a like cafe, and I was doing this. I was just drawing stuff. I was drawing people and everything. I was doing studies. And I remember I was really exhausted. And I remember it because I wrote on like the canvas, I wrote exhausted, because I was fucking tired. For some reason, my brain was tired, and it was because I was erasing every line. And I was even I watched the time lapse because I did it on Procreate, and I watched the time lapse, and I was like, bro, no wonder why you're tired. You're doing like this so wrong. You're focusing on the wrong thing. Your lines should not be your focus. Your shapes, your boxes should be your focus. Your perspective skills should be your focus. And another thing, I also see people drawing boxes like this. Either they do it like extremely fast, like they're playing like Fruit Ninja or something. Don't do this. Please don't do this. This looks so terrible. And you're usually, when you do this, you know, because you have like the mindset of warming up like this, and you're naturally going to draw your lines like this, I guess. It kind of encourage you to Control C even more to make your lines even more perfect, which is bullshit. You don't have to do that. So you want to draw in like a steady pace, almost like if you were 3D sculpting. So you want to draw like a 3D sculpting machine or something. You just want to focus on materializing the cube, all right? And if you are drawing in like a flat, and this is also going to wake you up in some way if you have no direction when it comes to drawing, and you're just like mindlessly either copying stuff and just drawing what would you call it? Like you're not actually building things and connecting boxes together and actually drawing in perspective. You're just copying stuff, and it all looks like very flat and 2D basically. It has a very flat perspective. So if you don't feel like you are materializing stuff out of nowhere, like with your lines, then you're doing something wrong. And yes, it should feel like you are materializing things. Because, as I said, you want drawing to be the vehicle for creating shapes, for creating blocks. It's like you're playing Lego in real life. You're playing with Legos in real life. I mean, in your canvas, basically, on your canvas. And from this point, you will get less burnout. You will enjoy drawing more. Your lines are going to look way, way better. And again, I don't want you to. There are so many pointless art fundamentals that people hype. Like, again, line confidence. You know what's going to train your line confidence? This is going to train your line confidence. Because you are not control seeing and you're just trusting that the end result is going to look good. So it's like you don't really give a shit, and that is so powerful. So remember, lines are just the vehicle to the fucking truck again. I'm sorry for that. It's not my fault. The lines that you draw is just the vehicle for the cubes, for the boxes. And drawing the box, it's really important that you know how to draw boxes intuitively. Like I'll make this in another video, but like focus on boxes and why they're so freaking important. Like boxes, drawing boxes and perspective. Let's just say perspective in 3D space is literally all that you have to learn in terms of drawing, and nothing else. You don't have to worry about anything else. The only thing that you have to worry about after you master perspective, which might take you 1 year or 2 years, is learning anatomy. And when I say learning anatomy, I don't mean learning anatomy of the human body only, but the anatomy of everything, every object that surrounds you. Because once you know how to draw these boxes, you can turn these boxes and you know how to materialize them. You can materialize more complicated stuff like people. And you can even, let me do that real quick. You can even materialize people out of boxes, and that is, you know, something that you train, you learn how to use perspective. And this is a very cool way of demonstrating this. Because, wait, let me actually do this again. It's almost like you're building a Lego person. So I'm gonna draw a cube. And this is going to be the head. I'm gonna draw a person here. Let's say this is the head. And remember, here I'm just 3D sculpting. Here we have the neck of the person. I'm gonna draw the torso. Sorry if I'm mumbling. It's just hard to draw while you're talking. To talk while you draw, and yeah. And you are just going to focus on like pretending that things are made out of Legos, basically. And this is learning anatomy here. You learn anatomy to like the point where you just know how to simplify it. And if you can draw these boxes from any angle, you know how to draw an actual person from any angle too. But for this, you get to study perspective. You get to study a little bit of perspective. But once you know perspective, and once you're like, okay, I've already studied perspective and I know what I'm doing, it's like the rest of things will just become really easy. Doing anything else. Um, well, anyways, I don't want to make this video any longer. I think I've covered everything in this specific line work topic. And, I'll extend myself in other random videos. And, you can leave the video already. This is everything for this kind of drawing lesson. But I want to talk a little bit about the direction of this YouTube channel and currently what I'm doing here. So for some time already, I've been wanting to switch to doing drawing videos instead of painting, instead of too much painting. And I've been kind of thinking too much about the direction of the channel. So I'm just gonna try to do the plunge into the drawing section of things, because I think that drawing and painting are so different that it wouldn't make sense to combine them, or to try to, it's just two different things. It's like playing guitar and learning how to cook. It's just two different types of fundamentals and things that you gotta really understand separately. And I've been working more towards drawing than painting, so this is naturally what I'm more biased or slanted to just teach here on the channel. So I'll be using this to talk about drawing for now and see where it goes. I also want to say in advance that everything that I will be teaching here is going to be everything. I'm going to be teaching everything I know, like the most powerful information that I know, and everything is going to be here on the channel completely for free. However, if you want me to personally help you and you want me to be some sort of accountability, I'm also doing coaching. I have a coaching program. It's in my Patreon. You can check it in the description. And we basically hope on calls, and I get to see your art, and I get to help you out and give you direction. So if you like me, you can check it out, and you give me your money, and I give you the gains, I give you the results, whatever.